Good morning, camping friends. I'm Tim Richardson. Thanks for coming out this morning, wherever you are. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. We have brought in an expert, and I'll introduce him again in just a second once everybody gets in here. Blake Wright, thanks for joining us, Blake.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's going to be 80 and sunny here in Lakeview, Ohio.
Man, that's even better than where I'm at. So if you're just getting logged in, we'll give you a few minutes while we're gathering folks, and we'll just before we get into the really good meat of the training, we got some good stuff for you too. And Blake's got something to share in a little bit later about financing that will just kill it. So I already got the sneak preview, and it's going to save you some money. So anyways, find the chat area, because guys, we want to hear where you're watching from. So that'll be fun. Go ahead and test that out. And man, throughout this time, we want to hear questions. So just pop them in there. We don't have any feedback from you guys, so we just hear ourselves talking. So it's great when you guys talk. Tell us where you're watching from, though. We have William Hefner in Van Wert, Ohio, nice and close. So welcome.
It is not too far away.
Tom, good morning. Wherever you are, you must be out west a little bit more than us. So, and we have Cheryl in Wisconsin. It's probably still cold up there.
Minnesota.
And Minnesota, Leanne.
Washington.
Greetings.
All right. Nice to see you, Dale.
Dale in Milwaukee. Yeah. Kent in Sacramento. Now that's what I'm talking about. No, it feels like California today. The one day of the year, right?
Yes, the one day of the year. But the humidity is gone, so it probably is like west right now.
Yeah. Tom in Arizona. Christine in Illinois. Russ, greetings in Wisconsin. Cool. Oh, we have another Ohioan. Sally.
Alaska. Awesome, Barbara. Is it still cold there? I wonder.
Rockland, California. That just sounds cool. I wonder if that's
Tomahawk, Wisconsin. That's pretty neat.
Exactly. Cody's having issues with sound. Try logging back in. Guys, if we have any tech issues or if with your connections, our connections, whatever, we're going to have a recording of this that's going to come out to you via email about 2 hours after the event. So you don't have to take crazy notes, because you can always replay it if you need, or if you want to share it with a friend or whatever. So we have Manny in San Antonio, and we have, wow. Okay. All right, folks, let's get going here. So I have Blake Wright. Thanks for joining us. Blake has been doing a lot of camping stuff, has helped thousands of people figure out what makes sense for them, right?
Yes.
You probably heard so many stories. I can't wait to hear some today.
Oh, it is crazy. I got some most recent ones too, which has been blowing my mind. So I can't wait to share.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be good. So don't be afraid to ask this guy some tough questions. If he can't figure it out, then we're all in trouble. So let's dive in. 5 big buying mistakes you can avoid when buying an RV. So obviously in the right place if you're thinking about RVing. I'm really curious. I'm going to put up a poll. I want to know how many of you this is going to be your first time buying an RV, and you're doing all the homework, which I'm proud of you guys and girls. So thanks for doing that. So I'm going to put up a poll. We're going to ask the question if this will be your first one or not. So let's pop that up, and here we go. Well, somewhere this. Yeah. Okay. So just answer that. And while we're getting in there, so let's get into, my first camping trip. I forgot I had this in here. So I serve as the host of not really the host, more of the producer of the virtual RV show, which is a big show that we do once a month. But between that and these webinars, I think we've helped 90-some thousand people this past year. And really our motivation and my motivation, in fact, I'm not even on payroll at RV Wholesalers, but the owners are friends of mine, and they came and it's like, hey, Tim, could you help us get the word out? We're seeing a trend it's kind of sad, but people are being taken advantage of, and we want to educate. They were school teachers for about 10 years before getting into RVs about 20 some years ago, 23, almost 24 to be exact. And so they just have this heart for teaching and equipping people. And so that's really how it all started. They're like, hey, can you guys do shows and webinars and just let's educate people on all the things that we're going to cover today, like
right. And this business literally started from nothing. Now it's crazy big, just helping people as much as we can.
Yeah. And you guys, I know it's, there's going to be 600,000 RVs probably sold this year. And you guys, that will just be a little dent, like you can only make a dent in that. So, 5,000 or 6, whatever,
right.
Like whatever percent you can sell, but that's nothing compared to how many people are buying RVs. So let's just help everybody
as much as we can.
So no matter whatever makes sense for you guys, we want you to be equipped so you're not being taken advantage of, especially now. It's just crazy. And I'm sure, Blake, you've got some stories from the front lines the last week that you can tell us. Okay, so here's the results from the poll. Will this be your first time purchasing an RV? Yes, for 66%, and for the other 36%, or whatever it is, 34%. Now it's 63% and 36%. Doesn't add up to 100, but it's pretty close. So yes, for way more than half. So cool. Thanks for sharing. And first, so this camper, this is my first RV trip. Honestly, we lived up in British Columbia, Canada. And so this is me at a young age. My dad actually built this RV. And so we're going back to Boot Lake. And this huge tree that you see under your picture there, Blake, that thing fell over our route. It was the only route into this lake. And so we had to spend the night there waiting for the forestry service to come cut it up so we could actually get to our vacation. And so we just built this little lean-to you see on the left, and our whole family's staying out there. I just never forget that night. Wow. I remember waking up like 2 a.m. or whatever time it was, just like scared and cold. And I was like, Mom, can we just sleep in the RV, in the truck camper topper that my dad built? And so we slept in there. The next morning we wake up and we're walking around the campsite. My brothers noticed, like, hey guys, look, and there's these huge black bear prints. And that was when I knew, like, I love RVs. They saved my life. And ever since then I have like a special place in my heart, and been doing a lot of camping the last couple of years with my family. In fact, every week I'm pretty much in an RV, whether it's for work or for when I come down to RV Wholesalers, or if it's with our family on weekends and stuff. So yeah, so I'm a big fan, love RVs, and love that you're excited about getting into kind of just a new adventure, really. And so we want to hear what you guys are going to do with your RVs at the end. So
yes, please.
But let's dive in. The hidden fees, not asking for the out-the-door price. This is a problem, I think. This is where you don't want surprises, folks. Like exactly. You get to the closing of, you've done your ordering, your purchase, picked out everything, and then you wait for your RV to come in from the factory. It arrives, it's inspected, and then they hand it to you, and they also have you sign the final paperwork. And that's when we're seeing a lot of issues happening. You go to sign that final paperwork, and boom, there's some surprises there that you were not planning on, or some dollars that you didn't hear about or didn't think about. They kind of, so let's dive into that area. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
This is crazy. And, a lot of dealerships, especially what's been going on for the past year now, has been taking advantage of this. And so basically they'll give you a good price online or over the phone that looks good, get you to walk right into the door, get you a couple feet in there, ready to talk about it, makes you to be able to do a deposit. And typically it's usually a lot of dealers, do $1,000 deposit, that's non-refundable. Well, everything sounds so good until you get into the closing office. Now, this is when they get you. And so they will tack on, a pre-delivery inspection, which is supposed to be.
Yeah, what is that? What does that mean?
So it's also called PDI. So basically what they do is it's a pre-delivery inspection. They take your unit through their service department. They test everything, your plumbing, your wires, make sure everything's clean, shiny, new, the whole 9 yards, which it has to go through. Every dealer should do that. Now, a lot of dealers, take that and charge you more money, typically around $1,200. And so which is crazy. Now, they don't tell you about that till the closing office. So you got that on top of everything. Then you also want to do what they also call an environmental fee.
Yeah, keep talking. I have a little list here. So
no, you're fine. So like an environmental fee, which is most supposed to be morely for like your boats. So you didn't get your algae eating up your boat or anything like that. But yet they want to charge you to put it in your camper, which is crazy. They want to charge you for absolute tires. So let's say you're in California, because guys, every single camper is built in Indiana. Okay. So once you see them out there in California, guys out there, or Washington, or even Alaska, for God's sake, every camper is built there. So they want to ship it out there. Now what they're going to do is say, oh, your tires are no good no more. Boom. There's another couple grand for new tires. It's called their tire exchange fee, which is absurd. It's crazy. So they're just going to come up with anything and everything to be able to get more money out of you, just to make better bang for the buck. It's crazy, and with everything going on for the past year with COVID, they're taking more and more and more and more advantage of it. They're saying, "Well, other dealers do that, guys. I can tell you, we don't do none of that." But they'll try to lie to you and say it's going to happen anywhere. Guys, no, it's not. Make sure you do your research. What I always tell customers is, because I can't sell you guys all. I want to, gosh, so bad, but some we just can't, And so basically, what you want to do is, when you sign and give that deposit, say, if my amount changes by $1, 1 penny, I want my money back. If they say,
yeah, that's good.
If they say no, run, because they're out to get you afterwards. If they say no, run.
Say that again. I want people to write this down.
Yes, so please write this down. So
you'll get a sales agreement.
Exactly.
They need to give you something, and actually a lot of dealers, people aren't even asking for a sales agreement. So yeah, so ask for a sales agreement first.
Yes.
For starters, where they should spell out every detail. Mm-hmm. And then say it again. Say your big thing.
If my price changed by 1 penny, I want my money back. If they say no, run, because they know they're out to get you.
Yeah, that way you have leverage to get that deposit.
Exactly.
Here's what's happening too. There's so many price increases, and they're in little increments, but they're happening. How many would you say you've seen in the last 8 months or less?
8 months, 4 or 5. Like we just got 2. So honestly, probably more than that. We just got hit with 2 last month. It's crazy.
And so what's really crazy is the way the industry works. And I didn't realize this, and it's a lot different than car industry, how pricing and all this stuff works. But when a manufacturer says, hey, we're going to increase the price, they've already got orders in. So say you ordered your RV last month.
Right.
And today a price increase just came out because of tariffs or steel or whatever it is for the day. Right. And so we get a note, RV wholesalers would get a note from the manufacturer that said, hey, sorry, but the price on all this model is going to be up by $600, for example. They'll
break your contract and call you back and ask for that money.
Yeah, so the dealer has to pay. So even though the price was set with you as a consumer the month before, $600 less, the dealer still has to pay the factory for the new price because it's coming in after the time, right?
Exactly.
So now the price has truly gone up for the dealer by $600. But if you have that contract with the dealership, you as a person buying it, then you're locking that price in, so they can't raise it on you. Right. So some dealerships are going to pass that. Hey, honestly, look, it went up $600. Some of them are actually. We've seen some horror stories where they're saying, hey, the price went up $1,200. Let's split it half, 50-50. You pay $600, we'll pay $600, and we're good. Yeah, honestly,
there's a dealer that's about 2
then the
hours.
Dealer's not out any money. He actually, you paid the $600 that he had to pay. So
right. So that's a dealer 2 hours south of us that he's been doing that, and we've getting a lot of feedback from a lot of customers that's coming from him to us, explaining. It's like, hey, he's breaking our contract. He's saying since there's been this $1,200 increase, He's making us pay that. He's breaking our contract. Now our price is completely different. Guys, you can't do that. That's not a good business plan.
Yeah, that's terrible. So folks that I have on here, this 5 hidden fees document, this is a 1-page PDF. I'm going to give this to you right now. So look for this. I'm going to share it right now with you. So you can download that as we're talking. That way you don't have to write all this stuff down. But these are some of the fees that we're seeing. We'll explain a little bit more in detail too, or if you have questions about those. But yeah, this is really helpful, Blake. Thanks for
no, you're very welcome.
Because that's the thing. We don't want people surprised at the end. So there's going to be fees, and especially when you're comparing apples to apples, like your one dealership to another dealership. How much does that trailer cost? Well, yeah, that looks great. Yeah, that's $2,000 less for this dealer. But then, yeah, you need to really ask the question before you say, well, that's a better deal than this one, because you want to know what the out the door price is, your taxes, your everything, all your, number 5 on this list, doc and title. Can you explain what that is? That's a fee that is legit,
has. So that's a legit fee. It's the states that need that. Doc and title, I mean, it's like all your documentation paperwork, like with the state of Ohio, for instance. Let's say you purchase, I don't know, from me, I'm in Ohio, but you're in California, okay? With the title, Ohio is an enforced title state. So basically, the title is for Ohio, but if you're in California, we have to do paperwork and everything to transfer that over to a Californian state, and so it's state title. So it's just the paperwork and stuff to be able to do that, to get it transferred over into your state instead of Ohio. And Ohio, like I said, is an enforced title state, so that has to happen from the state of Ohio. That's just out of the dealer itself.
Yeah. So, but that's a number that when you're adding up, how much is this RV going to cost me? You have to add that amount on. Exactly. Transportation fees. Let's talk about that, because that's another number that. They're all manufactured basically in Elkhart, Indiana. Yes. 97% are in that area. So there's Goshen, Millersburg, Elkhart. That whole area is like heaven for it's like the Mecca where all of RVs come from. And so they have to get to California for our friends out there, or to Minnesota, Florida, wherever you guys are from. They have to get from manufacturing to you. And so if there's a dealer in your neighborhood, he's had to pay a transportation fee from the factory to there.
Exactly.
Or if you're buying it from someone like you guys in Ohio, then there's a small fee to get it to Ohio from the factory. Exactly. So there's always going to be a fee showing up. It may be really tiny, like the one for RVW is what, $300 or $350?
$360. Yep.
$360. So, or it may be to Florida. Say they buy it in Florida,
which could be maybe about $2,000, $1,500 bucks. $2,000.
Yeah. So do the math, like figure out how many miles that is, so that you can kind of figure out, like, does that make sense? About $2. You know what I mean? Because they can't haul. It's not like cars where they can load 10 on a semi. It's one truck pulling one RV for the most part, unless they're really small, then maybe 2. But for the most part, yeah, it's a kind of an expensive transport, and so that number should be reasonable. If you see 3,000-4,000 in Florida for that, red flag should go up.
Exactly.
And yeah, but a little tip for you guys too. You shouldn't have to pay sales tax on that number. So say you're in California and it's $3,000 transportation fee. That should make sure that they, separate it out, right? Like they can do that, right?
Yes. So that's how we break it down. So if we say we get a purchase agreement from me, you see that your transportation is below the tax line because you're not paying tax on that. Now, a lot of people, especially out west, they'll tax it so to get more money out of you.
Yeah. Yeah. So make sure you don't have them separate that out. And I mean, I always thought that the going to an RV show was the best place to get a great deal on an RV. I always thought, like, man, the sales, like, it's going to be crazy. There's so many people, and they've got all this competition between dealerships there, and like, man, I'm going to go there, get the best deal. I was asking the owner one time. I was at the I was in Chicago, I was presenting at a RV and boat show.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all these RVs. So I sent a picture. I'm like, hey, why aren't you guys here? David, the owner of RV Wholesalers. And he's like, oh, Tim, I'll explain later. And then he sat me down. And he's like, so here's the issue with the shows. They're great for people to figure out their floor plans. And that's kind of what you have to do is kind of start at the beginning, figure out what type of model you want, whether it's a park model or Class C, like one of the folks here was saying about getting into a Class C, or, you kind of figure out some of those big things. And that's what the shows are great for. But he said, like, for us as a dealer, like, there's no way we can do that, because if you think about just a convention center space, I mean, a little booth is a couple $1,000, and then, that's 10 by 10. You multiply that times 3 just to get one trailer in. And then you got to bring like 10 trailers, and you have to feed the, all your sales staff. You got to feed them, house them in hotels. Then you've got to
per square foot that you have to pay for.
Yeah. And then you got electricity and internet, and then you got, the union just to pull them in. You can't even pull them in yourself. That the union guys have to bring them in to position them and set everything up. And then you have it ended up, he explained, it was like almost $100,000 to $200,000 depending on how many trailers they wanted to take.
Exactly.
Just for a show. It's like, okay, so how are we going to recoup all that money and still sell a lot of RVs? So that's kind of where I think that you got to really watch, because that's kind of where dealerships will add into the hidden fees to keep the price pretty good, but then tack it on the end so that they're covered and they don't lose money on those shows. So just be careful.
Exactly. Now let's go with our next one here. I got a couple questions here.
Yeah, go ahead with questions before we dive into some of the used stuff.
Right. So I see Sally, she's asking, are these fees added on previously owned units? So no, the only fee you're typically going to find is the dock and title on a previously owned. You're not going to find transportation or anything like that. PDI, and a lot of dealers probably are going to tack that on, but let's say from us at RV Wholesalers, we're not going to see that here with us. The only thing you're going to see is the dock and title fee. That's it. Which you should see at least.
What about Tom's question? Can you read that? Are RVs typically driven to a dealer? I'm looking at a new unit with 1,666 miles on the odometer, driven from the factory, they claim. So
it depends on where you are, Tom. I mean, if you're out in California or anything like that.
He's in Cottonwood, Arizona.
Yes. So that amount of miles is probably true.
Yeah, there's really no other way for it to get there. Yeah, they don't haul motorhomes.
Right, so they're all driven. Now watch him, because he's probably going, like I said, back to our hidden fees thing. He's probably going to do a tire, fee. He's transportation fee. Without West, they're probably going to get tacked on with the, we would probably where the like the checkpoints or whatever. They probably get checked with that too. But it's probably without your transportation. But just do your research on them, Tom, and just kind of see what they're saying.
I heard about a fee called Route 66 fee. Have you heard of that one?
I have not heard of that.
I'll have to get some more details. That was a weird one. I never heard of that until. I
don't know if maybe it's for tolls or what, but I haven't yet heard about that. But it wouldn't surprise me then.
Yeah. So I mean, you definitely going back to that first fee, the PDI. You definitely want to make sure that they're doing it because that's a serious inspection that happens. But they should be getting the dealers getting reimbursed from the factory. It's kind of like a second wave of quality control. So they do their final checks at the factory, which I've been impressed that the factories, the quality, I thought, as busy as they got would be going down, but I think the quality is going up. I've been in a lot of the factories with cameras and stuff because they're focusing on producing one model for longer. Like before they were changing like half a day, they would switch to a new model, half a day later, another floor plan, and they just kept switching all the time. So I think they're actually doing better, honestly, being able to focus a little bit better. But so those, that PDI is kind of like another inspection that after it goes across the road and gets to Arizona to a dealer or wherever it is, then that dealer checks it all over. Anything he has issues, he gets good money from the warranty department. through the factory. So, yeah, so you want that to happen. You want to make sure that, and then you shouldn't really have to pay. Like, why, right, if the factory's paying them to do the inspection and right, everything, why should you have to pay?
I hope that answered Stephen's questions. I mean, I hit that pretty hard. No, they should not charge you for it, but they do.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, there's a number of folks, this isn't their first one. They're thinking about trading in. So what are your thoughts on trade-ins? Like, yeah, how do you get, I don't want people to not get the most for their trade-in. So how do you get the most for your trade-in, I guess? What do you tell folks?
And so to be honest, just be honest with the people, the dealer trading in. Like, a lot of people say, well, it's in pristine condition. Well, come to find out, you got D-Lam, you got a soft spot here, you got a soft spot there. Just be honest. You get the most for it. Now, what a lot of people gotta get confused by is to get the actual value of your camper, guys, is the NADA book. Not online, because online is always going to shoot you high. The actual book.
Okay.
But thus, personally, that's how we go off of it. There's a couple different segments. You can get wholesale trade, you can get retail trade, or basically what you pay for it new. Okay. What dealers are going to do is, of course, they're going to get that book value. Okay. They're going to go a couple grand off of it. And the reason being is people love to get the best deal, right? They love to bargain. They do it the new one. So new on the used is no different. So basically what with us, what we do is we'll offer, let's say your value is 15. Okay. But we're going to offer 13, 14. We're going to post it back for that 15 so we can work our way back down on it. It's basically how it works. A lot of people's like, well, that's not what I paid for it. I know. And I'm sorry that you got, taken advantage of from another dealer. And also, these guys do depreciate like crazy. It's just like a car. As soon as you drive it off,
except for right now.
Except for right now.
This year, like, my goodness, like, it seems like the price for used is crazy.
It's really nice. What I do see a lot of people doing, guys, is Facebook Marketplace has been very, very popular. I know a lot of people has been doing that to get the most out of it. Which
so you're
not hurting our feelings because I want to get you the most amount of money out of your camper. You know what I'm saying? So you're not hurting our feelings by any means if you do that route. It's your money. Get as much as you can. So
yeah, if you don't mind taking 6 or 7 pictures, and it's super easy now,
right,
and posting them. Facebook Marketplace is really hot, and don't just focus on like your town. Yeah, people are driving multiple cities, states away to find these used right now. So Facebook Marketplace. What's another one?
RV Trader is another really good one.
Yeah, RV Trader.
Craigslist, I still see people doing that, but I see people moving away from Craigslist, doing more Facebook Marketplace than more RV Trader.
Yeah, Craigslist is a little sketchy, especially if they will only chat with you. Like, those are scams. Like if they won't call you, if you can't, if they don't give you a phone number that you can talk personally, then I would be afraid of that. Hey, Blake, if they were asking about NADA, Ben was, so NADAcom.com is not necessarily the best pricing. You guys get an actual physical book.
We get a physical book.
If I put up your contact information, I'll
yes.
Can you help these folks by looking up like what if someone says and sends you an email? Could you look up like what the values are for their one? Okay,
I'm more than happy to do that for you guys.
Let me get to that real quick here. Give me just a second. We'll get your contact information up here.
And then for Lynette, yes, I still predict for this to be crazy, just as bad as it is this year. And it's a good thing, but factories are still a little bit behind. It's going to be even crazier. That's what we are predicting.
So here's Blake's number, his phone number, and his email. So
that's actually me. I'm actually in the hat.
Oh, yeah. You did hide in that shiny head. Okay, nice.
And then,
so
Go ahead.
we were camping. We were camping last October, right before it got cold, and with our family. And another family pulled in. So I took actually two RV wholesalers. I took a Nitro, like a toy hauler, and a Wildwood travel trailer over to a really cool campground. And we had just pulled in, another family pulled in, Chris and Christy, with their three kids and a travel trailer. It was about the same length as the Wildwood. And they came running over and like, oh, what's this new one? You know, like, because ours was brand new, obviously.
Right.
And so they're looking at it, it's like, oh man, this is the same layout as ours. Like, this is great. And they were telling me about theirs, and like, yeah, we got ours 7 years ago. We bought it. It was 3 years old at the time. We've had it 4 years now, and we paid $15,500 for it, which seems fine. Then then I felt really bad because they were like, oh, how much is this one? You know, this new Wildwood. And I was like, honestly, it's 16,000. Like, brand spanking new, 16,000, had all the latest tech, you know, the Bluetooth speakers and the water, you know, you could drain the water with one flip of a switch kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, it was just like all kinds of, 7 years of improvements, and they had paid the same thing for theirs like 4 years prior. Or I guess they had it three. They bought a 4-year-old trailer 3 years ago. Yeah. Right. At the time. So before you take on someone else's problems, like, I would definitely shop the new ones. You know, like, it may not make sense, and you guys know your budgets and everything, but
you would be
definitely check it out.
How many people I have coming through the door saying, I'm only for used. I'm like, well, was it for a price point? Yes. And I was like, well, I got new in that price point. Let's take a look. And they didn't buy a new because I got stuff in the price point of used. So
yeah. So let's move into the next area. Let me get our slides back up on here. So let's talk about RV terms, because you can really get creative on how these work. It's different than car loans and stuff. And in fact, go ahead.
There's a game the banks love to play. We know how to work it. So with a lot of people get confused between an auto loan and a recreational loan. Well, an auto loan is a must-have. It's a necessity. So the more amount of money that you put down means better interest, which means better payment. With a recreational loan, it is a whole 360. It's a complete opposite. So the more amount of money you financed, the longer the term, which means better the interest rate, which also equals out to better the payment. So let's say you're looking at a $26,000 camper. Okay, so the term that you're going to be qualified for is a 15-year term. Okay, which means if you have outstanding credit, 5.9 give or take on an interest rate, which means about $250, $260 on a payment, which isn't a lot of people's budget. They like to stay around that $250 mark. And so if you start asking for, you say, my bank can do a 7-year note, but your payment's going to be $600 a month rather than $250. And so if you have a budget, let's say you have a budget for that, okay, I'll find it dandy. You have a budget for that. What you want to do is, with the recreational loan, it's a simple interest loan, okay? So you can make double, triple payments on that. And anything extra above the minimum payment is going directly toward principal, which your interest is calculated for that daily. So let's say you have a 12, 15-year note, but you have a budget for a 7-year note, paid off within 7 years, you're still saving on interest.
Yeah, you'll still be ahead than taking a 7-year at your credit union's rate. You actually, take the longer. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sense. So once that we kind of make sense, and guys, we have videos to help understand that a little bit better, kind of give you the breakdowns, which is super, super helpful. Now, I would explain it, kind of like how I did. And people was like, I'm still a little confused on it. I'll send a video. Boom, they got it. And you guys, if you email me or whatever, I'll send that to you so you can understand it. Now, a lot of cash buyers. Let's talk about that for a second, okay?
Well, do you want to tell them the big secret?
Yes. And so,
all right, wait, let me show the picture here. Okay, not knowing the big dealer financing secret, like this is the number 4 buying mistake. People, they don't know this. Like honestly, I didn't even know this till you guys, till I met up with you guys. I had no idea, and this wasn't just happening in the RV world. This is happening in autos,
boat, airplane, tractor, you name it, it's happening.
Wait, you bought an airplane?
I wish, my wife would be a lot happier.
More headaches.
More headaches, exactly. So, guys, let's listen to this. If a dealer sends you to a bank, we're doing the bank's job for them. So you know what the bank's doing? They're paying us. You know what we do here personally? We give you that money. So essentially, let's say
okay, wait, back up. So you're saying that the bank gives dealerships, RV dealerships, and all kinds of dealerships. They basically like a commission is what you're talking about, right?
So it's like a commission. They also call it like a kickback or reserve money, even.
Dealer reserve.
Dealer reserve. There's different variations, but it's all the same thing. So let's say you're looking at a $30,000 camper. All right. So Tim here, he's looking at a $30,000 camper. He's like, all right, cash is king. Here's my check. I go, whoa, wait a minute. So when I roughly on a $30,000 camper, you're getting $3,000.
Wait,
now,
seriously? So the bank is paying the dealership an extra $3,000 because they wrote someone's loan through that bank?
Exactly. And so basically, the dealers are usually, shh, don't tell anybody. That's money in my pocket. We're going to make more money off these guys. Ask about this, okay? Because we give it to you. We take it off the top of the subtotal, okay? So let's say $30,000, give you that $3,000. Now you're looking at about $28,000, okay? And so $27,000. I can't do simple math. So basically, what you're doing, your finance a little bit less. Now you don't have. Let's say you're writing a check, okay? Cash is no longer king. Let's throw that out the door. On the very first payment, pay everything off except for the remaining 11 months because that's the only obligation. Keep it up for 12 months, okay?
Okay, so the people that you're talking about, the people that don't want to go into a big loan and do all this, they can still win here by doing this. So they've saved up their whole life. They've sold their house. They're retired, whatever. They've been really wise with their money. Don't want to go into debt. They're fans like us with Dave Ramsey, and they want to be wise about it. But you're explaining a system that is all legit because it's a contract with the bank that says 12 months. Is that what you said?
12 months.
About a 12 month. So you just have to have this loan open for 12 months to be able to, for the dealership to get this reserve money or to get their commission, which in this case, you guys are passing it on to them. Nice.
Exactly. And so
explain how they do it. So they have 12 months. What do they do? So
on the very first payment, pay everything off except for the remaining 11 months. So easy. Let's make it easy. Your payment's $200. Okay. Take 200 times 12 equals $2,400.
Yeah.
So the very first payment, pay everything off except for $2,400.
Or
what you're going to do is you're going to pay on that 200, that minimum payment for the remaining 11 months. After that, it's paid off. You just killed off all the interest doing it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
You're probably paying like $150, $200 in interest. Roughly.
Yeah. So you're throwing away $150, $200.
Right.
But what are you getting?
You're getting discount $3,000. Okay. Plus, you're saving more money on that interest.
Nice.
That's it. You're saving $1,000.
Yeah. So
literally $1,000.
You walk. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So don't be afraid to ask. Like, I would hold that card to the end, like work out your deal, and then say, okay, so if I, finance with you, how much of that dealer reserve, is that what you call it, right? How much of that dealer reserve are you going to give back to me to buy this from you?
Exactly.
And you can do this with cars. Like, you just got to be careful because sometimes, like, the sales guys don't know that this is happening. Like, a lot of people don't. So you might have to talk to the finance manager. He'll definitely know.
Don't let them do this. Don't say it's illegal. No, it's not. That's just my money in their pocket. All they want to say,
okay.
Yeah, we don't have no idea what they're talking about. They do know what you're talking about, especially if you get to the finance guy. They do know what you're talking about.
Well, here's what I learned, and you already know this, I'm sure, but when the F&I guy or whatever they call the finance manager, when he says, "Hey, we're gonna shop around, we're gonna get you the best interest rate," for, we got 12 banks we work with. I don't know. I think you guys work with like 12 or 14 banks, right. And so when they do their little shopping around, it's not really to get you the best interest rate. Right. It's to get them the most commission back, or the kickback, or the dealer reserve, whatever.
That's called shotgunning. A lot of dealers shotgun your credit. It's a good dealership. What they want to do is they want to analyze your credit, okay, and send it to one or two banks. That's going to get you the best interest rate. That's to help you put more money back in your pocket, not ours. That's what I'm in the business for, is to help you, not everybody else.
Yeah. So I just want to go back over, saw some comments. Cody and Lynette were getting a little confused. I think hopefully we got it straightened out, but just to explain it one more in a different way. So if you want to pay cash for an RV, don't, because, I guess if you're going to a dealer, that's not going to give you, if there's, a dealership, that's not going to give you any of the financing discount back, money back that they get from the bank, then you're fine. It's going to be the same price. But if you can get to the end and convince them that, hey, they're making, if I finance, they're making, and this is huge. Like on a motorhome, like a friend of mine just bought one for $93,000. It was like $8,000 that was coming back from the bank to the dealership. So $8,000. So if he said, and he had cash, actually, he was going to pay for it with cash. I'm like, don't pay cash, because then we have to sell it to you for $93,000. So he bought it and got the money back. He put his big chunk down. Right. And so he's going to have 12 payments. So he's going to make 12 payments. He's going to have a loan. Yeah, but it's only for a year. And he's going to save $7,200. He's going to make $7,200. Got $7,200 off the price of his RV. So now it was an $80,000 RV instead of a $93,000. So hopefully that makes sense. But it's a game that's you just have to play. Because the banks.
And Cody and Lynette, please email me, call me. You got my contact info. We'll put it back up here in a little bit. Call me, because if you love money, which if you have cash and you're really good with your money, I know you love it. If you love money, you want to go this route, because it is literally saving you thousands, putting thousands back in your pocket, making it a little bit fatter. So,
man, like that alone right there is worth the time on this webinar. So hopefully you guys understand it, and apparently Ben figured it out. So and so the dealer reserve is kind of like the code word that's used in the industry. So watch for that. Cody says thank you. So cool. Yeah, and we'll let's keep going. And if there's any more questions about it, we can circle back around too.
Right.
But let me get the slides back up here. And coming up next is the next big buying mistake is, there's Blake's number. Okay. Yeah. Not checking out service and wait time. So we're going to talk a little bit about service. I actually have a video that we shot earlier with the owner, one of the owners, the brothers that own RV Wholesalers, just talking about this, because I think it's important. And I've been impressed that he is actually
talking about this too.
Let's see here. Give me just a second. Let me get his video queued up here, and boom.
Lynette, while we're waiting on that, email me, call me, okay? I'd love to go in more depth with you. Please, Lynette, get a hold of me, okay?
Yeah, I'll put that back up there while I get ready to play this video. Okay. Here's David.
Hey guys, glad to help. I've kind of been serving people or helping people my entire life. It's kind of how we were raised, I guess you could say, to put other people first, take care of other people. So when we started the dealership, it was sort of a natural for me, especially if you look at my teaching background. I taught for 10 years. I've always enjoyed teaching people new things. I've always enjoyed helping people, both professionally, personally, etc. Taking care of kids and stuff was such a joy, such a pleasure. So when Mike and I opened up this dealership, it just kind of sort of wasn't even a choice. You know, we're going to focus on the people that we sell to. We're going to take care of them. We're going to treat them like family. And again, you know, that's just how we were raised. I remember we'd been selling for a few years, and we had the idea of putting a used unit on eBay, and it did really well. We put another one, you know, and long story short, through the winter months, we had sold not quite a few, all of our used units. And in the spring, we thought, you know what, I wonder if people would buy a new unit. So we put a new unit on eBay, and a crazy thing happened. A guy from Iowa bought it. Put another one up, a guy from Texas bought it. And we thought, man, you know, we've stumbled onto something here. And I never will forget, my dad came in to check on us, see how we were doing, you know, just to visit. And we were telling him how great this thing was, right? We're going to be able to sell RVs all across the U.S., it appears, through eBay. And I'll never forget, he just kind of looked at us and he said, you guys started selling because of service, right? You did service first? Yeah, of course, Dad. So service, most important thing? Yeah. Well, how are you going to service people that aren't even in your state? And it was kind of a low moment, you know, it sort of like sucked the wind out of us. And we kind of regrouped for a couple of days and thought about it, even prayed about it. And then the idea popped in our head, hey, what if we found someone in each person's hometown to take care of them? And fast forward 23 years later, that's our nationwide service network. And now we're able to sell to people all across the U.S., all across Canada, and take care of every single one of them. But I think one of the things we're most proud of is that we've never had a customer not get serviced anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. You know, we've always been able to find someone to take care of them and someone to meet their needs. You know, and
that whole nationwide service network is really cool. I know people were wondering, like, okay, so if I do buy an RV from Ohio, how do I get it taken care of? And that's kind of when you think about it, it's like, okay, so anytime I take an RV, like, okay, so I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. I never go camping in Cleveland, Ohio. Like, I'm in Michigan, I'm in Nashville, you know, Tennessee. Yeah, it's like, that's what it's going to happen. Like, it's not going to, when it's just sitting here, it's fine. You know? It's what, you know, I'm not using the air conditioner, but when I'm out, you know, down in a hot state, and then, of course, you know, Murphy's Law, that's when it breaks, you know?
Right, and
exactly. And then how do you get it fixed? Like, that's the thing. It's like it's not like a car dealership where you can take it to the next Honda dealer and they pretty much, they have a contract with Honda and everybody, they just get you in just like normal. This is, you go to there's just a big long waiting list, multiple weeks a lot of times, and you just have to wait, and then you have to pay out of pocket, because if it's a warranty thing, even they make you they're not going to let you leave their dealership without, you know, you paying, and then you have to deal with trying to get the money back. So that's why I think it's cool how you guys have created that, I don't know, like 2,900 or some different vetted people. And it's not just RV dealers. There's RV service centers, there's mobile
shops.
Mom and pops, mobile service people. It may even be an HVAC specialist that comes out and figures out what's wrong with your stove or figures out your air conditioner on your campground. Like, you don't have to take it anywhere a lot of times.
Right. And, you know, I love hearing the story from David. And I mean, I've heard it so much. I want to tell you guys. So we sold these customers a vibe. And they went down to Florida, and, you know, it's in the dead of summer. And so, you know, it's hot, it's humid. And so they have 2 children with them. It was a toddler and a baby, and their AC quit working. And, you know, it's, you know, getting hot and muggy. The mom's getting mad. The babies are cranky and things like that. So the husband calls us up, you know, he's just like, I need help. Within 15 minutes, we had an HVAC guy there working on his unit. By the end of that, within a half hour, they're as happy as can be. AC is working. It's cool. And so the only thing we ask, especially with customers with us, call us, please. We can get people there to help you quickly, you know, and know we're, like I said, we're here for you. And other dealers has the opportunity to steal what we have here. The reason they don't is because, well, kind of says it for itself. They don't care after they get your money. With us, when we say your family, your family. We want to take care of you for as long as we can, or whatever you need. We are literally here for you, and that's it.
Yeah, it's not a bunch of baloney, like,
Right.
Because obviously work with RV wholesalers, but I've actually, for our show, we just recorded a Zoom interview. I don't have time to play it now. It's about 18 minutes. It's broken into 2 sections, but this couple, they had 6 girls, actually all girls, and
boy,
they were telling us the story, like their RV. He went around. He uses it for work. Like, he's a X-ray technician out in Utah, and so he travels city to city. And so they finally, after years, figured out that they could do this in an RV instead of him just going on trips all the time. So they take the whole family, they homeschool and do all this. They were driving and something went clunk, and there was some bad welds. And anyways, they lost the whole. The RV had a big issue with it was a manufacturing defect, but it kind of was in this wasn't really covered by their warranty at that point. It was later, and it wasn't really the factory's responsibility. But it was really cool to see how they called RV wholesalers, and you guys actually, put them up in hotels and took care, like how they were taken care of. Like, they were just so impressed. Like, and it was very unsolicited. Like, we just kind of stumbled on it. It's like, oh my goodness, like, these guys are really taking care of these people. And it didn't make sense for them to have to pay half of it. The manufacturer, it was a manufacturing defect, should have totally been covered by the manufacturer. Manufacturer paid only half, and then these other people were able to take care of the other half. And even though it wasn't really their responsibility. So that it's cool to see people actually with hearts that, it's not about, just making the dollar. And,
when you say your family, and I don't leave no family member behind. So why would I leave you behind? So we really do mean it here, guys.
All right. So, man, some good stuff. All right, let's, I'm going to let's see here. Let's get this next slide going. So there's Blake's email, and
these guys.
I'm going to keep going here. Next slide. Let's see what we got. We already saw that one. You guys figured that out. I threw in a 6th one. I said there was 5 big buying mistakes. Number 6 is buying a service agreement that doesn't cover much.
Yes.
So some people call these extended warranties. They're not really a warranty. A warranty is what you get from the factory. So that's what the word warranty means. And that's usually about a year.
Yeah, a year limited
for the main parts, and then
12-year limited roof, a little bit of a 3-year structural. Some of them are a little bit different. But when I talk about extended coverage, the wall goes up. People tell me, "Quit talking. Yeah, I don't want to hear you."
Well, yeah, that's like what my dad taught me that too. It's like, do not, when they ask you at Walmart, do not waste your money on the stupid warranty. Like,
exactly, but
it's just more money.
Please hear me out.
Okay, fine.
So when you hear about that, a lot of people think it's stated component, which stated component, guys, is bad. Run away, say no a million times, and no again.
Wait. Okay. What do you call it? Stated coverage?
Component coverage.
What's that mean? Just explain what that is before you tell us why. So what's better?
Stated component is it only covers what's stated on the paper. Not an inch more.
Gotcha.
That's why it is bad. Okay.
So you get like a contract,
yes,
like a service contract. You pull it out, and then on that list is what's actually covered. So, for example, we will cover your, I don't know.
Let's say a rim, or let's say a fridge door, or something like that, or a fridge.
Okay, so a refrigerator's covered. This was covered. This was covered. All right, so maybe there's 40 things on the list, or whatever it is.
But let's say something on that list is not on there. It's not covered.
Yeah. Or the other thing that I've seen people getting burned with the stated is, say the fridge is covered.
Yeah.
But then the inverter goes bad and it blows out the fridge. Now the fridge isn't covered because it was caused by something that wasn't covered, even though it says it's covered. Well, yeah, it's covered, but not if something that's not covered ruins it. A lot of loopholes. So
a lot of loopholes. But what you want to hear about is the exclusionary coverage. Let me tell you the difference about that.
Yeah.
It covers absolutely everything the factory doesn't cover except for wear and tear. So on a piece of paper, what's stated on there is what it doesn't cover, which is wear and tear. Okay,
so it's kind of the opposite. So
complete opposite.
Before we were stating the things that are covered. Now we're stating everything's covered except for the brake pads, the brake pads. That you have to replace yourself, or the light bulbs that you have to replace yourself, or
your wear and tear items. So you said it perfectly. The perfect example that I love to use to help explain it is the brake pads. It doesn't cover the pad itself, but it will cover the brake mechanism. Okay. So again, light bulbs, yes, those wear out. You got to replace those. That's not covered, but everything else, it is. Let's say you get your slide motor. Okay. Let's say that goes out. That's covered. Your slide seals, that's covered, which by the way, guys, factory does not cover your slide seals, but this exclusionary coverage does. Let's say you get a tear in your sofa, covers it. Spills, stains, covers it. Let's say you get a scratch in your countertop, that is not covered because it's a wear and tear. Okay. But everything else, guys, it's going to be covered.
Yeah. So, and run scenarios with people. It's like, hey, so if this happens or I do this, is that covered? And then there's also a difference between RV insurance and warranty. So some things, like if it gets damaged or a tree falls on it, or
let's say you have let's say a tree hit, or you get or bad weather happens, a hailstorm comes through, okay, and you get some hail damage on the side of your camper. A lot of people's like, well, is that covered in exclusionary? No, that's your insurance. It's an act of God. That's your insurance. Yeah. Your insurance will cover that. Let's say you get a horrible leak. That's your insurance. That's not the coverage. Let's say your slide seal, your inner slide seal tears. That is going to be your coverage. That's not insurance. That's going to be actual coverage that covers that. Your warranty. Your fridge, motor, that's covered.
Yeah.
Let's say your dog gets a hold of your sofa, covers it. Your coverage does, not your insurance. Your warranty coverage covers it. Let's say your membrane rips off your roof. You get damage that way. That's going to be more your insurance covering that. So there's just different things here and there that people get confused by, but we love to just,
Steven's asking, are there other names for exclusionary service agreements? So that's basically the broad category. It's exclusionary, meaning this is how the contract's written up, meaning we're going to only list the things that are excluded versus the stated. So you can ask that question. Anybody that's selling these, you can buy these for used units as well. I think, was it RVingsolutions.com? They carry them for used units. So you can even get them on older units. They just do an inspection and then they know where they're at and then they go. But
another thing kind of watch too is there's a lot of dealers, they offer a lifetime warranty. Okay.
Oh yeah. So this is the kind of the third one. Yeah. Even there's really three types that we know of category wise. There's lots of different brands. Like the one I showed you actually is an exclusionary one. They also carry stated too, probably. Mm-hmm. But if you get an exclusionary one from Protective, I know that's a good name that a lot of dealerships use. But yeah, okay. Talk about this. The one that's really sketchy.
So the limited, which is
lifetime.
It's red flags everywhere. Okay?
Warranty forever. There's other names for it. But yeah,
and they say, "Oh, it's free." No, you pay $200 a month for it. Okay, before they could put their hands on it. So you're just paying $200 to have it. Okay. Now, once they get their hands on, they're going to nitpick everything to get more money out of you. Now, here's the funny thing. So, yes, they're going to say, oh, I offer this lifetime warranty. But then they're going to sit you down and talk to you about getting you stated component or exclusionary coverage. And people go like, wait, What? Yeah. So lifetime warranty.
I have a lifetime warranty. Then why do I need to buy another coverage? Is what you're saying?
Right. And so because the lifetime warranty is trash.
Well, Blake, one time, I agree with you because one time I was at, I think it was in Kentucky. It was a huge dealer only RV show. Like you had to be a dealer to go in there.
Yeah.
So I went in with the guys from your team, and I'm walking around, and that's what I found. Like those, all of a sudden, like I walked by this booth. It said lifetime warranty, or I forget the name of it, but warranty forever or something. These guys came up and they're like, hey, let me tell you about our product. Like, you're going to love it. As a dealership, you'll love it because on average, you're going to get $900 a year from each person that buys this, that gets this. And because here's how it works, like, because they have to, in order to keep this going year to year for the life, they have to come in by a certain date. If they miss that date and don't get inspected and don't get regular maintenance done, like on the roof and seals and all that kind of stuff, then it's null and void. Like, boom, it's over. So they're going to come in every year. They're going to schedule an appointment for service. They're going to come in, and you can upsell them on other things besides the sealing the roof and all those things. So you can get about $900 extra from every person every year. Not to mention that they'll maybe buy another RV in 4 or 5 years when they're in for their visit. Like that's how they sold it to me. I'm like, my little red BS detectors went up.
Exactly.
But it's definitely not customer.
And so like with Steve, we kind of hit that a little bit. His question is, what about service agreements on routine maintenance? So the warranty coverage will not cover that just because it's routine. You're supposed to get that. It's kind of like your oil change in your car. You're supposed to get that done. So the coverage won't cover that just because it's supposed to be done, but you don't have to have it done to keep your exclusionary coverage. Okay.
Yeah, true.
So you don't have to do that to keep it, but it's always recommended, Yeah. So I hope that answered your question there, Stephen.
That's good, man. This is really helpful. So I know we're running out of time right now, but would love to keep going. But man, good stuff. So let's put up your information one more time. And
guys, please blow me up. I'm here for.
Hey, would you be cool if I made like a little offer for these guys? Because if there's somebody here today that's like you guys have been searching, kind of figured out like the category and all the like kind of what you need for RVing. And if Blake can help you out, what you can do, if this will help you, is he will, if you send an email, the first 2 people that do this, that send an email, and I'll put your email up here. Nope, not that. Let's see. I'll put your email up. And the first 2 people that put the word 500 either in the subject or in the body that just says, I want $500, give the first 2 people credit towards delivery. So unless they're in Ohio, then you can just give them a discount off their RV. But anywhere else in the country, because you guys deliver Hawaii anywhere, right? So if you give them $500 off the delivery to that location for the first 2 people that put 500, that would be awesome. Are you cool with that?
I'm cool with that.
I had to clear that with the owners, but
So. Y'all better get to emailing.
But yeah, so hopefully that'll help you guys. Check out our YouTube page. We're going to have this video and all the other videos posted up there. So subscribe to that. Just go to YouTube, type in RV Wholesalers, and hit subscribe. And then anytime we do shows and all that, there'll be videos out there. So you can go see the show we just did last week. We're working on one coming up on April 28th, virtualrvshow.com, virtualrvshow.com to get registered, because you want to register. We give away a ton of prizes. In fact, yesterday I was on the phone telling a lady, it's like, no, really, like you just won a $600 Blue Ox hitch system that's going to keep your trailer on the road nice and straight. It's not going to be swaying all around back there. And you could tell they didn't believe it. Like, it was like, yeah, what's the catch? I'm like, no, honestly, like, watch the video because you won it. It was like right at the beginning of the show. She watched like later in the show, so she didn't know that she had won. So it was funny because I was on speakerphone. Her husband's like, so tell me about this thing. Like, you could tell, like, did not believe that. But we give away lots of big prizes and different things throughout the day. Good times. April 28th is our next one. So, all right. Thank you guys. Thanks, Blake, for taking time. I know you've been busy, but I appreciate you helping us out. This is really good understanding some of these things. So, Take care, folks. And while you're saying goodbye, just in the chat, put in your dream. Like, man, I want to take this RV and go see Mount Rushmore. I want to go take my grandkids to their my daughter's softball team to the softball games, or whatever the crazy thing is that you want to do with your RV. Would love to hear about that in the chat before you sign off. But we'll just sit in here and watch chat for a couple minutes now that we end up.
Can you put it in the comments for Leanne about our show? She was asking to get that in.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to I'll type in the link right now. So it's virtualrvshow.com. Boom. So this is where you go. You can go right now and register. Actually, I'll make it an actual link so you can just click it. Hang on. virtualrvshow.com. And we have a band called Trailer Swift and all kinds of stuff. So we just have a lot of fun. We'll walk through probably 25, 30 RVs during that day. And then you can ask questions live. That's the cool part, is like, hey, Shelly says, hey, show me that shower. And then we can take the camera in there and put someone in it to see how tall it, how much headspace there is, or, like any questions are pretty much fair game.
We got Magic too, which is really cool. Our owners get on there. They will talk.
Oh, Joanne. Yeah. I'm just reading some of the comments. Joanne, they're going to do a full-time RVing thing, which is cool.
Oh,
she's a beautiful country God gave us. That is awesome. I wish I could do that. A couple more years, maybe. But oh yes, speaking of full-time, if you're going to go full-time, don't keep that like your little family secret, because insurance and the banks, they don't like when they hear about full-time. They're like, well, these are recreational vehicles. Like it's a luxury item. It's for recreation. Don't really want it to be a full-time thing. They will not
loan you money.
Yeah, so the loan. So that's just. It's great for telling us, but we won't tell anyone. But just as far as when you start to go get deals.
And Tom, no, the prices never go down, buddy. They keep on going up. I've been doing this.
Going
on 4 years. I've never seen them go down. They always go up. But
Lynette. I got a few full timers. National parks. That's awesome.
Yeah, Scott. Get hold of me, buddy.
During the show, we give away national parks passes. So Scott would love that, because we get the whole family of 4, their RV and or their car and their trailer, whatever, truck and trailer, whatever it is. So all that, it's all part of that pass.